So it's the new year. Gym, fitness and diet adverts are hitting you left, right and centre. And hey, maybe at 11:59 PM on New Year's Eve you resolve to get fit in the next 12 months. Sadly, the truth is it's really bloody hard. Heck, we're releasing this video in mid-January and most people have already given up on their resolutions by now, destined to fail that fad diet and cancel their new gym membership by mid-March when they suddenly realise they're still paying 40 quid a month to not do bench presses. Fortunately, video games are here to help, aiding you in getting some exercise in without it feeling like a massive chore. So we've gathered up some games on different systems that can help you work up a sweat while also being, you know, fun. Also, you don't have to go outside if and when the weather sucks. First off, let's look at what's on the Nintendo Switch, the console with its own iconic motion controls.
You ready to play? Nintendo Switch Sports.
Kicking us off with the current-gen follow-up to an iconic Wii series is Nintendo Switch Sports. With 8 different sports on offer, you can play the Wii Sports classics of tennis, golf and bowling, or you can try one of the newer offerings like football or basketball. Now, Nintendo Switch Sports is somewhat limited in its single-player options, but the true joy of this game is in light-hearted competition. You can find folks to play with online, or the best thing about this series, you can play it locally with friends and family, thus tricking people you know into exercising with you. And what is a greater gift than friendship? Helping your friend improve their cardiovascular system by utterly destroying them in badminton. Nintendo Switch Sports continues the Nintendo trend of games that encourage gentle exercise. So this game is a great starting point if you've not done much exercise recently and want to ease yourself into things, or if you need the thrill of competition to really get your heart pumping. And PSA, please do use the wrist strap so that you don't use your newfound strength to fling a Joy-Con through your TV or through your loved ones.
Too late!
We're gonna have to take Andy to hospital again. If you're missing Wii Sports Boxing or just want the arm strength to carry the shopping home no problem, Fitness Boxing 3, your personal trainer, might be what you want. Rather than punching a me in the face, this rhythm action game focuses on boxercise. This means lots of ducking, weaving, punching and uppercutting to music from artists like Billie Eilish, Fall Out Boy and Elton John. Your cheery looking personal trainer will not only show the moves as you need to do them on screen, but call out what you need to do, as well as shout general encouragement. Plus, for those of us who can't resist a bit of customization, you can choose which trainer you want and kit them out in the fitness gear of your choice. One particularly brilliant thing about Fitness Boxing 3 is sit-fit boxing. This allows people with mobility issues, such as wheelchair users, to do seated workouts and, as with most accessibility modes, it also benefits other players by creating a gentler level of entry for those just getting back into exercise. Although if you're looking for something entirely more silly and can forego the seated mode, the studio's previous game, Fitness Boxing Fist of the North Star, is there for all you manga and anime nerds.
I have not a single regret in my life!
More like weebs sport.
Embark on an adventure that'll keep you moving. Ring Fit Adventure.
In October 2019, Ring Fit Adventure landed and everyone thought it was pretty damn good. And just a few months later, during the first round of lockdowns, it was harder to get hold of than a roll of toilet paper. Having played the game, I can see why. It's the fullest body workout of the games listed so far, with the ring con and leg strap fully measuring how well you're doing the various on-screen exercises. With the gamified elements of different exercise styles being used to defeat different monsters, it forces you to try out different exercises and even push that little bit harder to get some extra points of damage, somewhat taking your mind off the fact that actually you're just doing crunches. Sorry. Bonus points and completing harder exercises equals double the smugness. There are even nifty modes to help more people play. For example, if you live in an apartment or flat, the game lets you go into silent mode. This changes the main travel movement from running on the spot to doing mini squats, helping you avoid stomping about and pissing off the downstairs neighbours, which I'm sure many downstairs neighbours will surely appreciate. This can also be useful for those with disabilities, as well as the assist modes for the shoulder, back, abs and knee, which can help you avoid doing exercises in areas where you may have mobility issues or pain. It's not perfect, but it's pretty decent. The best thing is that whatever your current fitness level, the game works very hard to go at your pace. Plus, if you don't fancy going through an entire level, you can try out some of the mini games to just get some movement in. Overall, we'd say this is the best all-body workout you can get, while still having enough of the video game nonsense that we love. Now, Nintendo have been successfully tricking us into exercising for years. Just look at the Pokemon series constantly forcing us to go outside for a walk. But what if you don't have a Switch? Currently, there is only really one solid option for console players. The Just Dance series is for two things: seeing your gran try and do the Rah-Rah Rasputin dance, and ensuring the opening of every Ubisoft E3 reveal confused the absolute out of everyone watching. As someone who was there, I can attest that nothing will wake you up after a night of eating takeout and editing videos in an LA hotel like seeing a panda hastily dabbing live on stage. While the previous entries in this list have been more obviously sporty games, Just Dance has a particular advantage. Dance is the one sport that has tricked many people into not thinking it's a sport, but something you can just do drunk at a wedding. You can't play football drunk at a wedding, to which I say, well, have you tried? As someone who easily got 10,000 steps in on the dance floor after watching her friend walk down the aisle last year, I am living proof as to just how much you can trick yourself into exercising by bopping along to some good tunes. But if standing routines are not an option for you, like Fitness Boxing 3, Just Dance 2025 edition does also have some seated routines. However, only 3 in the collection of the 40 new songs actually have seated routines as an option. So while it's better than nothing, it's a sarcastically small amount, meaning that if you want to get more routines, you'll have to shell out for the subscription service. Just Dance 2025 is available on the Switch with Joy-Con controls, but to any Xbox and PlayStation owners, you will have to play on your smartphone and download an app that will either use your phone's camera to track you or have your phone be a controller. And according to the below 2-star average rating across Android and iOS, the app doesn't always like to work. Since Xbox stopped forcing everyone to buy a Kinect, fitness games have somewhat dried up on the platform, leaving Just Dance as one of, if not the only fitness game on the Xbox Series X. But again, only when the app works, so be warned. Maybe stick with the Switch. One space that is absolutely perfect at tricking you into exercising is VR, with most VR titles already being a more active option than traditional gaming controls. There's a higher cost of entry thanks to having to buy the headset of your choice, but in my humble opinion, if you can splash out or beg a loved one to get it for you as a gift, VR is brilliant for accidentally getting fitter. Almost all the games I've picked out for this list are higher movement rhythm action games, and we're kicking off with the one that really, well, kicked it all off. Beat Saber is a fun rhythm action VR title released in 2018 that, when it arrived on PSVR 2 in 2023, I became slightly obsessed with and reached expert level within 2 months. But not on Ghost. I think you have to be an actual Jedi to do that track, even on hard. From my experience, I can assure you that this game where you swish light-up sabers around to the beat is A, stupidly fun, and B, an absolute workout. While having a bunch of blocks flying towards your face and ducking out of the way of huge electrified walls might be overwhelming at first, eventually you get so used to the movements and patterns the game likes the most, you'll be able to complete higher levels on your first try and feel incredibly smug about it. But no matter what level you enjoy playing at, I found Beat Saber did wonders for my mental health. It's perfect after a long or frustrating day to just pop on a headset and hit some blocks to music, swishing your arms around in a strange zen-like state and generally not thinking about anything else going on. Plus, with heaps of options for customizing the rule sets and gameplay, it's a very accessible game, even allowing you to alter settings so you can stay seated while playing, and while it's not the perfect solution, colorblind players can customize the box colors to ones that are more easily distinguishable for them. Plus, with some excellent bass songs and an always growing selection of music packs that you can buy as add-ons for the game, or even modded routines you can find on PC, you can really curate your perfect session. If you want to know even more about it, you can check out the linked videos in the cards and description to see my initial descent into my Beat Saber obsession and my further rise to Expert Plus. Or if you ever see me out and about, you can just ask me about it, but be sure to clear out your calendar for the next hour or 3.
Violent content. Parental discretion is advised.
If you prefer to destroy your targets from a distance rather than slash through them with a lightsaber, Pistol Whip might be the rhythm action VR game for you. This arcade on-rail shooter lets you play it just as a classic arcade on-rail shooter. However, if you sync your shots up with the music, you'll earn way more points and feel like an even cooler badass as you clear your way through waves of polygonal enemies. It's basically like if Beat Saber and Superhot had a very cool baby. You'll not only have to have your head in a swivel for oncoming foes, but you'll constantly have to swerve out of the way of oncoming bullets and obstacles. These will not just help you work out physically, but also help you work out the best order to take out enemies as they shoot or charge at you. While there isn't a set seated mode, you can go into the options to remove those obstacles and stop enemies from shooting those bullets at you, meaning you can just get a nice arm routine in instead. But however you play, Pistol Whip will make you feel like John Wick in a nightclub full of nasties. But without the need for a sad dog backstory, so... Okay, so maybe you don't want to swipe things with swords or shoot things with guns, maybe you just want to go with the flow. Well, for you I have Synth Riders. Touted as a freestyle rhythm game, you just have to line up your hands with the markers racing towards you, creating swooshy movements. This ultimately makes it look more like you're dancing, cheerleading, or just casting some kind of spell, and maybe this game will cast one on you if that's your vibe. Like Beat Saber, there are a ton of tracks that you can buy and download, including a recent Barbie-themed level that will probably turn your eyeballs pink. But at £2.49 a pop, they are a lot more expensive than their £1.69 Beat Saber counterparts, and even their music packs are more expensive per track and usually smaller. And though I'm proof that small things can be great, it's not great if you're hoping to regularly mix up your workout music and routines, so that's something to bear in mind in the long term. Does anyone out there remember the weird Japanese game show Brain Wall that came to the UK and US as Hole in the Wall? Well, VR title O Shape does. This game takes the idea of having to hold your body in the right shape, but turns it into yet another rhythm action game and removes the risk of being pushed into a cold pool of water if you fail. Unless that's how your VR space is set up, in which case we highly recommend you change your setup, that's extremely dangerous. Not only do you have walls to fit through, but there are also portions to duck out of the way of walls entirely or smash through them. This does mean that you have to move from side to side a lot, so make sure you have enough space to play this one. Plus, the music choices lean more towards pop and electronic vibes, so do bear that in mind if you're more of a rocker. Also bear this next game in mind if you're more of a rocker. If you're less into dancing to electronic music and more into hitting things real hard to rock music, it's time for you to check out Ragnarok. This game basically takes the rhythm action drumming gameplay of Rock Band and Guitar Hero and makes it VR. Instead of getting a crowd excited, you're spurring on a Viking ship, and the better you do, the faster you go as you play in multiplayer races or time trials. The gameplay means it's easy to play seated, much like drumming in Rock Band, and you can still get in an excellent workout, especially if you try some of the harder tracks. New tracks and bundles, called raids by the game, are similar pricings to Beat Saber, which is great, and there are lots to choose from, all from similar headbanging genres. The game describes its track options as from Celtic rock to Viking power metal, so this is definitely one for people who like an electric guitar or 12, or a ton of bagpipes. Not everyone has bagpipes in their fitness playlist, and I think this game proves that they're missing out.
Fight. Fall. Rise again.
Now, a lot of these games are rhythm action, but one that is pure action is Until You Fall. This hack and slash roguelite sees you fighting off strange magical monsters in a, quote, neon fantasy world. You'll swing your sword and sling spells, block and dodge attacks, all with helpful prompts on screen to let you know what you need to do. The synthwave soundtrack will certainly spur you along as you fight monster after monster, and with the great mix of futuristic neons alongside more traditional medieval armor and combat, this is definitely a unique game and a unique way to get your body moving. Plus, as an added bonus, there is a seated mode for those who need it. This game is a great option for players who aren't fans of rhythm action games, whether that be not enjoying the game's style or, perhaps more likely, because they have zero rhythm. Or because they've been forever mentally scarred by that awful Little Mermaid rhythm action level in Kingdom Hearts 2. Sorry, but if I have to look at it, now you do. I've laid out a few options for you to try in this video, and it seems that unless you want to fight with an app that breaks every time it's updated, your best bet for getting movement into your gaming routine is via the Nintendo Switch or VR. These titles are just a helpful starting point and are mostly ones with short levels that you can replay to help you build a routine, or just let you pick them up for short bursts when you have the time. There are plenty of other longer adventure titles like the sword-swinging Blade and Sorcery and the PSVR 2's archery-centered Horizon Call of the Mountain that will give you good arm workouts, or shorter experiential games like Kayak VR Mirage, which also has racing options in it for anyone who really got into the Olympics last year. Also something to note, between recording and publishing this video, Nintendo announced the Switch 2. If you don't already have a Switch, you might want to wait around and buy the new model, as plenty of the games listed here will be backwards compatible with it. However, it won't be out for a few months yet, and we're not sure if things like the Ring Fit Ring-Con will work with the Switch 2's Joy-Cons, so bear that in mind. As usual, if anyone has more suggestions, do pop them in the comments below for other people to find. And if you're really getting into fitness, don't forget your rest days, during which you can watch more videos from us, such as the ones on screen right now. And if you found this helpful, give this video a like, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye.